If you're looking to locate the Czech Republic to join your spouse on a family reunification visa, then this channel might be for you. Hello, my name is Evelyn and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'll be sharing some of the 10 most common mistakes people make when applying for a family reunification visa and how to avoid them. Trust me, these tips will save you a lot of time, stress, and maybe even some money. So grab a pen and notepad because you're going to want to write some of these things down. So without further ado, let's head right into the video. Now, number 1, providing incomplete or incorrect documentation. One of the biggest pitfalls in the visa application process is submitting incomplete or incorrect documentation. The Czech authorities are very strict when it comes to processing a visa application, and any missing or incorrect documents can delay or completely derail your process. This may include failure to submit all the required documents listed on the website, not submitting a document in the required format, or submitting a wrong version of a document. In my case, I had failed to go along with my original medical results, and my passport photographs did not even match the exact requirements on the Czech website. When they noticed this, I was asked to leave and start the entire process from the beginning. No mercy. I also met someone at the Czech embassy who brought a bank statement showing his proof of funds, and because the proof of funds had printed bank stamps as opposed to the fresh bank stamp, nigga was also asked to leave and start his process from scratch also. Once you get into the embassy and submit your documents, there is no going back. And if you make an error, there's barely a saving grace, whether it is your fault or not. Other incorrect documentation could also include maybe submitting an outdated or expired document, such as a police report that is more than 3 months or a medical report that is above 6 months old. Even minor discrepancies like providing an old passport photograph instead of the most current one can significantly affect the outcome of your application. So please avoid such oversights because it will cause you delays and might also lead to rejections. But that is not the prayer for you. That will not be your case in Jesus' name. Number 2, assuming the process will be quick and swift. When applying for a family reunification visa, many applicants made the mistake of assuming the process will be swift, just like I did. However, that is not the case. Remember, the Embassy of the Czech Republic in Abuja serves nationals from other countries, not just Nigeria. You have people from Benin, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Central African Republic, and Republic of Congo. So all this tells you that the process will take a while. But on a norm, the family reunification visa process for the Czech Republic can take anywhere from 3 months to over a year, depending on how lucky you are or how quickly you complete all the necessary steps and whether there are any issues to documentation or not. Mine took about 7 or 8 months. Yours might be less or more. But please, don't be like me that went about making premature travel arrangements, because these early arrangements can backfire, and in my case, it did. Number 3, not getting documents properly legalized or translated. When submitting documents that were issued outside the Czech Republic, they must be properly legalized to ensure they are recognized by the Czech authorities. Legalization validates that a foreign document is genuine and accepted by the country it's being presented in. Without this, your document will not be accepted and your application will be rejected. Now, for example, let's say your marriage certificate was issued in your home country, but unless it has been legalized, the Czech authorities won't consider it valid, whether their embassy is in your home country or not. So most documents need to be translated into Czech by an accredited translator. Now, this is crucial as most documents in languages other than Czech are not accepted unless they are officially translated, and failure to have these documents legally translated or properly done can cause you major delays or lead to your application being rejected altogether. Because like I said earlier, these Czech authorities are very strict, most especially about translation and legalization requirements, and failing to meet these standards can be the difference between your visa application being processed or being sent back for correction. So if you do not want that, please make sure you legalize your documents properly by not just anyone, but an accredited legalization company. So number 4, starting late. Now, many people underestimate the time required to gather all the necessary documents and go through the application process. Because starting this visa application process late is a significant mistake that many people make, especially when you're trying to meet a specific date for travel. The visa process involves collecting numerous documents, some of which can take time to obtain. For example, obtaining certified translations, gathering financial statements, getting the necessary legalizations, or obtaining documents for foreign authorities can take weeks or even months. I have been there, so I know this for a fact. And if any of these documents are delayed or take longer than anticipated, your application timeline will suffer. So please do not fail to account for processing time, because while the visa itself may be processed in 2 to 3 months, the entire process, including gathering documents, scheduling interviews, and dealing with like any follow-up inquiries like a second interview, can stretch the timeline considerably. So if you start late, you may find yourself in a rush. And you know that when you rush things, mistakes are bound to happen, and you might end up missing important details, which can result in delays or rejection. So yeah. Number 5, withdrawing money from your bank account after declaring proof of funds. Now, when applying for a family reunification visa, proof of financial stability is a crucial requirement. This typically involves providing a bank statement showing that you or your spouse have enough money to support your living expense in the Czech Republic without having to rely on government assistance. Now, some people can make the mistake of withdrawing significant amounts of money from the said bank, maybe because they had like an emergency. Just so you know, after submitting your proof of funds and assuming that, okay, since the initial review of your document is complete, the financial requirements are no longer being monitored, that thing can backfire, I kid you not, because the visa authorities can verify financial documents multiple times during the application process. They might even ask for updated bank statement later on, either during a second interview or as part of the final review. If the proof of funds declared earlier are no longer in the account, it may raise red flags about your financial stability. This can lead to delays, requests for additional explanations, or even visa rejection. Let's say, for instance, if your bank statement originally showed a balance of 10 million naira, but a later statement, maybe when you get called for a second interview, shows only 3 million naira, the authorities might question your ability to support yourself. They could interpret the rejection in front as a significant financial instability, which might harm your application. So please, you or your spouse should try as much as possible to maintain the required balance throughout the visa process to avoid complications or doubts about your financial situation. I cannot stress this enough. Please do not allow emergencies affect that proof of funds. Now, 6, failure to provide proof of relationship. They won't ask you for this, yeah, especially at the beginning, but when applying for a family reunification visa, providing sufficient proof of your relationship between you and your spouse is essential. The Czech authorities need to ensure that the relationship is genuine, so they will require more than just a marriage certificate. So during my first interview, they asked for photos documenting my relationship with my spouse from the moment we started dating up until when I applied for the family reunification visa. And at that particular point, I did not have it because obviously I wasn't told to come along with it, and it wasn't said at the website. Now, but thank God I got called for a second interview and I had to go along with it. I just knew I had to. Had I submitted a proof of funds during my first interview, I probably wouldn't have been called for a second interview, and that would have saved me a lot of money because I had to travel to Abuja. I spent a lot for that second interview. So if you fail to provide evidence of your relationship, you can face delays or outright rejections. In my case, I probably was just lucky. So simply submitting a marriage certificate may not be enough, especially if the relationship is relatively new or if the authorities suspect the union is for immigration purposes rather than a legitimate family bond, because people in the UK or US do this. I've read about it. So yeah. Number 7, not meeting financial requirements. The Czech government requires that your spouse has enough financial resources to support you upon arrival. So if your spouse cannot prove they meet the financial threshold, the visa application may be rejected. Let's say, for instance, your spouse doesn't provide adequate bank statements, salary slips, or proof of employment. it might indicate that they are not financially stable enough to support you, who is the applicant. So if your spouse is a student or unemployed, they may need to provide evidence of other financial support. The authorities will closely scrutinize your spouse's financial situation to ensure that he or she can support you without having to rely on social welfare. Now, if your spouse's financial documents are not sufficient, the authorities may request further documentation, which can delay the process or result in rejection. And all this is because the family reunification visa would not allow you, the applicant, to work. So obviously, you need someone to depend on financially when you're here. Just like me, I'm currently not working. So yeah, I'm depending on my spouse. So that explains it all. Number 8, not preparing for the interview. The visa interview is a really important step in getting your family reunification visa. A lot of people think that once they submit all their documents, they are good to go. But that's not the case. So me too, I used to think like that. I did think like that until they call me for a second interview. Now, during the interview, the Czech staff will ask you questions about your background, why you want to move to the Czech Republic, and the relationship between you and your spouse. See, if you go unprepared, like how I did during my first interview, you might be called for a second interview. Or if you don't answer the questions well, it can create problems. For example, if your answers are unclear, like if you stutter a lot, you go down doing or your answers don't match information in your documents, they might start doubting your application. They could even think their relationship isn't real, or that you're hiding something, because you obviously will ask you questions from your documents. In my case, like I said earlier, I didn't prepare enough for my first interview. Like, my first interview didn't go well at all because I didn't take it seriously. Now, this led to the embassy scheduling a second interview to clear up their doubt, because all my documents were perfect. This second interview took extra time. It delayed my entire process, and it ended up costing me more money because of back and forth. So please, the interview is your chance to prove your case and seal your visa approval. If you don't take it seriously, you might face delays like just how I did, or you might be called for extra interviews, or you might even face rejection. But that is not your case in Jesus' name. So trust me, it's worth putting the effort to prepare properly, and please be confident during your interview. Don't go there and be doing like, don't stutter, okay? Number 9, lack of attention to detail. Attention to detail is crucial in every aspect of the family reunification visa application process, even in everything. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, because the slightest mistakes can lead to complications. These minor errors, while they may seem insignificant, they can cause a delay in the processing of your visa or result in requests for financial information. So please pay attention to details, because I did it during my the first time I applied, and it cost me millions of naira. Like, I'm not even joking. I spent so much money because I failed to plan properly, and I spoke about this in one of my YouTube videos. So if you want to hear the gist, you can as well go check it out. Number 10, skipping assistance from people by thinking you can do it all. That visa application process will humble you quick, because applying for family reunification visa can be complex. It's easy to make mistakes if you don't fully understand the requirements. Like even immigration consultants or family and friends who have been through the process before can offer valuable advice and help you avoid mistakes. If you say you're not ready to seek assistance, it can just leave you unaware of changes in regulations, or it can also lead you to missing out on important details. Now, for instance, an immigration consultant can provide clarity on the specific documents you need, or a friend, someone like me, who has already been through the process, can warn you about common pitfalls. So please ask questions. Don't just ask questions. Don't stop there. Go online and make research. During my time, I told my husband to tell his colleagues to help me ask their wife for tips and insights, and this really helped me a lot. I kid you not. Yeah, it did help a lot. I didn't just stop there. I went online and made research. I watched a lot of videos about Czech visa process, even those that didn't totally relate to my family reunification visa process. So some of these videos were not 100% accurate. Some of them did not even have complete info, but they were worth watching, because you might end up learning 1 or 2 things. I was able to just pick 1 or 2 insights from there, and it did help me a lot. So please do that as well. So those are the common mistakes to avoid when applying for a family reunification visa to the Czech Republic. I hope this video was really helpful and gave you some clarity on what to avoid during your own process. So if you found this video helpful, please give the video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel because I'm really doing this to help other people as well. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. I would also love to hear from you. So please drop a comment below if you have any questions or if you're currently going through the visa application process. Let's chat. So please share this video with anyone who you think might find it helpful. Also, make sure to check out my previous video. It's packed with so many insights to help you through your family reunification visa process. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Good luck with your visa application process. Take care and bye for now.